Disclaimer: the content shared on Somewhere Between Chaos and Calm may contain discussions of mental health conditions, trauma, and other sensitive topics that could trigger for some listeners.
Please note that although I am a medical professional, any opinions, stories, or advice shared are based on personal experiences and should not be considered medical guidance. We strongly encourage our listeners to consult with a licensed physician or mental health professional for any medical, medication, or psychological concerns. Your mental well-being matters. Please take care while listening.
Jen,
welcome in.
Welcome. Episode 1.
Woo!
We're doing it. First, let's talk about the week. What was the good? What was the calm? What worked so well this week, or what happened? Tell me.
Ooh. This week has been feels a bit more like chaos than calm for me this week. But honestly, the calm has been sometimes coming home is not calm. I'm sure you understand that with also having 3 littles of your own, 3 bigs now, we can call them.
Yeah.
But honestly, this week, I've really tried to embrace that moment of being in the driveway and like seeing my family at our house together. And I think that like after a day of work, after some stress, being able to like pull into the driveway and like see these little faces and my husband's face and just know that like you're safe and you are calm and you are loved. Like that's been my place this week.
Just that's like, awesome.
Yeah.
That's like it's a grounding and gratitude all at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's very much like you take that moment after work to be present where you are, be grateful for what's in front of you and what you have, your family, love of your little kids, like all that stuff. That's super important. And that's awesome. That's awesome that you had that moment this week. Yeah. I had a moment where my week's been the same. It's been crazy chaos. I also, I'm adjusting to new meds this week. Okay. The ones that I was on were giving me blood pressure issues, so I had to get off of them right away. And then this week I started new things. So I've been trying very hard to be kind to my system because it does take some adjustment, some drowsiness, headaches, a little bit of nausea. But for listeners who have maybe never had to switch meds before or have had to be on any sort of like depression, antipsychotic meds, it alters your brain chemistry. So it makes your body work and you have these side effects that you kind of have to get yourself adjusted to. So I was dealing with that all week and it was kind of making me maybe not my best self for my family, we'll say, like in a really nice way where I'm pretty sure like divorce came up multiple times this week because the thing about my BPD is I don't have a regulator. I like, it's like you say, like, I don't have guardrails sometimes. And so when my extremes get extreme, like it's all or nothing. And I am like I'm off the rails. I'm just no holds bar.
Yeah.
My poor husband, he's doing his best. He's dealing. There's a lot of things that we have to work harder because our foundation it's not like a regular terrain. There's a lot of ups and downs. So in all of that chaos though, this week, we were prepping for a garage sale. While I was doing that, I was going through, my jewelry and over the years, your kids will make you things and you like stash it because you're like, oh, that's cute. The little noodle necklace or the bead bracelet and all that kind of stuff. Well, I'm going through my jewelry box and I'm picking out all these little trinkets that the boys have made me through the year and the girls. The girls got me a couple things. And so I'm going through this jewelry and I start putting it on because I have this moment of it totally grounded me because I had a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, look at all these symbols of love and caring and thoughtfulness that my family had put into these things.
Yeah.
And I had to remember that in that moment because I was feeling so incredibly just like, I I was feeling very alone, even though I was with my whole family. I felt so
Mhm.
incredibly empty. I felt so incredibly alone. And I had to do something to snap myself out of it. And it just so happened that I got task oriented and I
Here
found these little trinkets that like totally made my day. So
you
I'm wearing them now. I wear them
I love that.
on I wear them on days. So tip for our listeners, when you see me more put together, those are the days when I am struggling harder because I go opposite. So most people, when they struggle really hard, they won't get out of sweats. Showering is really difficult, all those types of things. And I've been there. I have been there more times than I could ever imagine. But this week in particular, and actually I think I started this maybe like 3 weeks ago. I kind of dedicated to myself that because I work from home. So I don't have an excuse to not get out of sweats. I can wear sweats all the time. That is my main staple of clothing. But I committed to myself like 3 days a week. I'm actually going to get myself dressed, get myself ready, do my hair, put on makeup, do the jewelry. One, because I also have all of the things that I never use. It's
Think
kind
it's all sitting in that closet.
But two, it does help me feel put together. It does help me feel like, okay, I'm accomplishing something with my day. And as hard as it is sometimes to just get in the shower, put on regular jeans, which is annoying, but you do it for a little. You don't even have to do it all day. Like there were days I didn't even do it all day, but I
Yeah.
started out that way and it's been helping. So
Yeah. Give
that's
yourself
been
the
my
easy
calm.
check marks, right? Like get the easy things done first. And if that's all you do for the day, that's all you do.
Yeah.
But you at least you accomplished something.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
that.
Yeah. So that was a nice part of my calm this week was just to be able to have a moment of grounding and actually recognize it because it's so rare. It's so rare,
Mm.
especially like when I'm manic and I'm high and I'm low. Oh my gosh, the moments to just be like, yeah, we're here. I'm present.
Doing
This
it.
is good. It's
Do you feel like is the garage sale like bringing up lots of emotions or not necessarily? I feel like that would be it's got to be hard. Are you getting rid of like lots of stuff or just
the thing that I really had to face that's been the hardest, it's not, I don't, luckily, I'm not a person who, I don't get stuck on a bunch of sentimental,
Mm.
but I will say the thing that I had to really face is the amount of stuff that I am putting in this garage sale that I did not return to Amazon.
oh no?
Because okay, so can we talk about a quick symptom of like mental illness and the binge shopping, right? Like so I mean, binge shopping, impulsive shopping. We've all had that moment where we're like, that felt really good. And then you're like, I don't know if I should have bought that snowboard. I don't snowboard, right? Like I don't like in the moment, it was totally fine. That's how the garage sale looked. There's a lot of hobbies in my garage
Oh yeah.
sale. There's some cross stitch in there. There's some bracelet make. I mean, there are some hobbies.
Yep. So like
Yeah.
I'm gonna go all in on this thing, and then you're like, it doesn't help. I can't focus on it. It's still just not. It's just not it.
Yeah. So that was, I think, doing the garage sale. And I hate garage sales. Okay, anybody else that hates garage, because here's the thing, it makes me feel vulnerable. You put out
Oh,
signs and you tell a bunch of strangers where you live and like here's all my shit,
right.
go through
Go
it.
dig through my stuff. Yeah,
And then they also know where you live. Always. I don't
that's
like
actually
garage.
so true.
I don't like garage sales. But I don't know how else to get rid of my stuff. I could definitely donate it all, but I'm going to need a truck. Like,
At least one.
right? So, yeah.
I thought about trying to sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace, but then
Yeah.
also for that, I kind of would need to give people my address, and I was like,
Yeah. Or you got to
it's
go
more
drive to meet
effort.
them at the grocery
You
store
got to
all the
meet them.
time.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
annoying.
Like I would kind of rather just, but all the setup. I don't. I hate garage sales too. I can't even think about it right now.
I know, media. Ours is starting tomorrow. I don't even have things tagged with the prices yet. And then Mike's like, what's happening? And I'm like, it's fine. His garage is just full of crap.
It's fine. That's all it needs. Yep.
Oh well. So yeah, that's kind of been that's been our focus this week, but it's okay. It'll be good. It's something about a fresh start, right?
Yeah.
Something about clearing out the clutter and just having that nice new fresh start to things. I am really looking forward to that. Are you guys all settled from your move? Like, are you all unpacked and stuff?
It depends on what you consider unpacked.
Is the box open?
Well,
yeah.
Certain boxes are open. Certain things that I've moved with 3 times from when I lived by myself in an apartment to now living in our second home together, still are just like wrapped up tightly. I'm looking into like our mud room right now where there's like a box of, I think it's like shelving that I bought for our old basement that we never put together, but we don't have room for in this house.
Facebook. There you go. You're right. Facebook.
And then we're planning my middle's birthday right now. And so again, you mentioned the binge shopping, which it's such, Amazon like just contributes so heavily because it makes it so easy to just like click, 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 click. And I've tried at this point, like I try to wait 24 hours with my cart full before I buy something because I just like, otherwise it's like, oh yeah, we could totally use this. And then you end up with a garage full of stuff from Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've like tried really hard to like wait the 24 hours, decide on everything we want, and then like purchase from there. But so I have boxes full of birthday stuff because mine are little and they like themes still and they want a big sign for their birthday. His is going to be camping themed because we watch a lot of Minnie Mouse, but we didn't want the boy's birthday to be Minnie Mouse. So it's like a camping bow tunes. And so we're going to do camping.
That's cute. I love that.
No, little like fire s'mores, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's very true about the Amazon thing because now you did the birthday thing and now you will continue to get birthday stuff for probably until the next birthday.
Yes.
And it's gonna, I know.
And yeah, it serves you just what you're tempted with. Like, oh, I didn't really think that I needed 3 more sticker books for my children, but like maybe I do need 3 more sticker books.
Yeah.
Or like maybe if I wanted to, I should complete the blinds in our home. And like, but do I need to right now? No. We're okay.
Yeah. I know. I know. I got a garage sale full of it.
There you go.
By all means, if you need to feel better about yourself, come over and look at all my undone hobbies.
You said you're having a garage sale, and I was like, oh, I want to come check it out. Great. We don't need any more things in this house.
I want to tell you, because so we bought our house 3 years ago. And when we moved in, we both I moved from an apartment, he moved from a camper, and so we had little to nothing. Okay. And I might have gone like too far one way on the like filling up the home with stuff.
Yep.
But at the time, over these last 3 years, we needed stuff. And then I think I forgot to turn the faucet off though, right? Like I just kept going and I was like, yes, we need more. Well, I've got it. I have a couple Lazy Susans. I like them for decoration and I don't know why. And I don't use any of them. I do for like a minute and I'm like, yeah, this is really nice.
Yeah.
And then I put it away because I get tired of moving it and cleaning under it. And then I just don't get it out again. But then I find another one that I think is cute that I'm going to do it all over again with. I need to know, like, somebody else has to have this type of a problem. Then it's not just me. Like, I don't, and storage containers. I'm ridiculous
Oh,
with storage containers.
yes. Yes. Yes.
I,
I like
I,
keep thinking like, oh, we need another basket to store bags of toys in. And like I literally want to put like toys in bags in a basket in another basket. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I need to stop with the containers, but I just want it so much more organized than it is. And that's my only solution in my brain is like, you need a container for it. You need to contain
yeah.
the mess.
Yes. Yes. Because
Right?
if you contain it and you can like put it away somewhere, then it feels better. But then also then later when the container gets emptied and you're like, where did all this shit come from?
Like a box somewhere of just 17 candles that Lord knows where they came from.
Yes.
I have small children. I can't light
Yes.
candles in the house. So like, there's just a box somewhere of candles that from moving, I was like, oh, I'm going to throw them all in here and then we'll get them out and make them look pretty in different rooms in our new house. No, we're
Yeah.
not. Our children will light themselves on fire if I do that.
Yeah, they're gonna light them on, but they're gonna eat them. They're
They eat
gonna
them.
chuck them
Yes.
at each other. Yeah, all the things. I
Yep.
know.
Pour hot wax on their little brother. It's going to be a mess.
Yeah, that's true.
So now they're all in a box.
All right, we should probably do an intro. We should
All right.
probably tell people about us.
So we
So,
are.
yeah. So I'm gonna tell the story about how you and I got here to the podcast. So, for our listeners who don't know yet, Jenny and I are cousins. We are first cousins. And I recently, at our family Easter dinner, came out to everybody like it was a gender reveal about my mental illness. And I sat there in front of all my family, Jenny included, my aunt, my uncle, my siblings, and my grandmothers, like everybody. And I said, people, I need to tell you, I recently found out that I have borderline personality disorder with psychosis. And we had to explain a little bit about what the hallucinations part is. We had to explain a little bit about what borderline personality disorder is. But then after that, I announced that I was going to start a podcast. And Jen and I had already talked, though. You and I had already talked a little bit about starting something social, like doing a social collaboration of some sort. And here's kind of where we landed. So I am here as the host that has the bucket of really fun mental health
Experiences.
thank you. Experiences. I love that because it's so true. Because I would love to sit here and just use all the regular terminology to make it sound really familiar. But I'm going to tell you, I don't like mental illness at all. I think it makes me sound sick. Anytime you say illness, it's going to make you sound sick, right? I try to say mental wellness whenever possible, but there are times when I'm talking about the hard stuff, right? Where you do kind of have to label it as an illness because there are certain things that are symptoms for me. They are symptomatic. And um I like the wait, say it again. What was it? Oh, what did you just say?
No, I don't even remember. Mental
Oh,
health experiences?
yes, the mental health experience.
Experiences, yeah.
Mental health experiences, because that's basically what you do, right? You have an experience and then you try your very best to turn it into actually something that's healthy and workable. This is the thing. This is the thing with me. Like, I'm taking my experiences recently and like starting this podcast with you, and I'm trying to turn them into something good because we only ever focus on how our illness can be like so debilitating or all the things that we have to do to make it better. And how often do we actually step back? And I know people with ADD and ADHD, like this is the thing because you get productive and you're experience can make you really, really productive, and you can channel that energy into something really good, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you and I would like to do here. So then when I had asked you to join along, tell the folks about yourself and why you thought this was a great idea with me.
Why me? Yeah, so we had talked a while back about doing some social stuff. I think I showed up at Christmas, our poor families. I think I showed up at Christmas this year and was like, I want to be an influencer. Everyone was like, what? Sure. Post my children all over social media. Um, but I was like, I think we have such an interesting life right now. Things are just so kind of like bizarre. And I think social media has become this kind of way to like share and feel not so alone, right? Like,
Mhm.
and even start to recognize kind of the beauty in what you're experiencing.
Mhm.
And maybe that's not how everyone feels about social media, but I
Yeah.
think that there is like a way that like through doing these things, like you said, like it allows for some of that grounding and reflection and just like noticing like what is good. And so whether that's like me just pulling the parts out of my life that feel beautiful or like talking about it, I think that there's something to that, to being present and recognizing the things that are beautiful in your life and being grateful for those. So that's where I started with my social media experience. And then, of course, in April, Sarah came out to our family. And I have long worked in the mental health field as a registered nurse. Um, that I'm actually currently in school to get my second master's degree. So a little bit overeducated,
Yeah,
but
because one just doesn't cut it. You really gotta balance the certificates.
yeah. Yeah. It's
Keeping it
just
fair.
always needing that further education. But I do love learning. And I think that there's something to being able to like, yeah, learn and continue to develop my skills and to grow those skills. So yeah, getting my second master's
And
degree and
excuse me.
um just like I really love reminding people that they're not alone. So for a long time, I worked at like summer camps. I was kind of like a director in different places. And right now I'm like in a leadership spot. And I think that one of my biggest things as like a leader in throughout my life, throughout different organizations that I've been a part of, is just like really providing that encouragement and like being a warm place where people can come and like share what they're struggling with, because I want that. I want people to have a place where they can come. And I think um, I don't have the advice, maybe not ever. But I think it helps just to be listened to. And so I am
Mm.
here for you to be listened to as well as our listeners. And I just want to be that place where we can come and kind of feel heard and loved and accepted.
I agree. I think it's like if there's anything that I'm learning about mental illness, and mind you, like it's not like I've been struggling with these things pretty much my whole entire life, but it's just now in my 40s where I'm really starting to dig into the education
Mm,
of mental health because one, it's ever changing.
mhm,
There's so many there's just so many studies and there's so many things that people are doing and trying to not fix everybody because I feel like it's a really there's this stigma, of course, about mental health. There always has been.
mhm,
And if we look at the history of it, it's not that long ago, right? Like we're talking 50s, 60s when we started to bring things to the forefront.
mhm.
And then after that into like the 80s, it's still pretty misunderstood. And now we're in 2025. it's nice that there's more neurodiversity out there and that people are talking about it and sharing it. But I still feel like it's a very small subset. It's a very small minority that are yelling very loud to say, hey, we're here. We're functioning different than the rest of you. I wonder actually, like, are we are we getting to the point to where the norm is becoming the abnormal and the you know what I mean? Like we have gotten so neurospicy, all of us, at
Yeah.
some point or another, that we're like, it's like you said before, there's no norm anymore. There's no what is normal, what is not normal. Like it's just all a spectrum, and we're all working on different facets of it. Um, so I think sharing this information, that's you and me, like that's our goal. We want to share more knowledge and experiences and stories with people just so that you don't feel so alone.
Yeah.
That's really it. So if you relate to us, comment, follow. We would love to hear your stories. I love hearing other people's stories. I can't wait until I mean, I know this is episode 1 and but once we introduce guests and we start having guest stories on too, I'm so excited for that because I love hearing people's stories. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I am not alone. Just a coworker. I was telling her about the podcast and she was like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds exactly like me and a lot of things that I have gone through." And so it's like that thing where like I would have never known she's my coworker. We don't talk about how often do you talk about mental health? Well, you probably do because you probably talk to them about it. I don't. I work in a non-mental health field. So it's actually pretty common for us to not ever talk about those things.
Yeah.
So it was nice to kind of be able to I'm proud to wear this badge. I'm proud to wear this badge that like, hey, I struggle with these things. I am okay admitting it. It's a journey. Like it's taken me a long time to get here, but like if you need somebody to talk to, come to me because I don't have any advice, but I'm a pretty good listener.
Yeah. It makes you feel not so alone. And
Yeah.
we're here to remind you that you're not alone.
Yeah, I agree. So that's so I got to do my intro about me though. So, okay. So the thing about me is just know folks, I was born in the 1900s. My children like to remind me of that on a regular basis. The 80s specifically. So at 40 years old, I have finally officially got a true psychiatric diagnosis. Oh, and I recently had a meeting with my psychiatrist to get my meds all, straightened out. I told her about the podcast.
Yeah.
She's like, that's amazing. She said, do it. She's like, you need to share your story. And my therapist said the same thing.
I love that.
Like, I have to be like full transparency because here's the thing. I have a team of care providers and I am so lucky and I am so grateful because not everybody can do this and I understand it. And even though there are a lot of services out there, nonprofit and free services available for individuals, it is not easy to go out and get them all the time. And I know this. And so just know, like I say this in the vein of knowing that my husband and I have both worked really hard to make sure that we have the things that we need to meet our medical coverage. We have some children who have autoimmune disorders and things like that. So it is really important to us. And one of those things also is my mental health and having a team. And I say team because I have a therapist, a talk therapist that I meet with every other week. I've done that. I've been with her for 5 years.
Nice.
I have a text therapist who I can text on a daily basis. And she sends me things that help me kind of just manage my day and make sure that I'm still like, she'll check in with me. And then I have my psychiatrist that helps with my medication management. And then I do a lot of work at home. I do a lot of dialectical behavioral therapy. So DBT. I do a lot of that on my own at home. It helps me process through a lot of my different thought patterns. So,
do you have like a book that you use, or is there like a website that you go through? Where do you get most of your info on DBT?
I do have a book that I use, and so two of my favorite things right now that I'm using is the dialectical behavioral therapy skill workbook. This one was therapist recommended. It's really, really nice because not only can you interact with the book and do your activities, but they have printouts online. So if you ever need supplemental stuff, you can always access it there too, which is kind of nice. And then the other thing that's been a huge help with emergency issues recently are these little cards. I got them on Amazon. It's there's 50 cards here that in times of like really, really high stress when I can't think straight. So I jokingly said that like my husband, the amount of times that I have presented divorce this week, but it's not really a joke and it does really hurt people. And I have to be mindful of that. And so when I have moments where I'm really, really high conflict, like one of these, it says relationship patterns. And all I do is I can just pull one of these and then it gives me some really helpful tips. That's or cool. Something to try. But it's like, so this one's good. It says focus on what is, not what isn't. Many of us get locked into focusing on what isn't working in our relationships, which causes them to decay. Instead, ask yourself what works and what can I do to make it better? Focus on the things you can say or do to help strengthen what's working. So a lot of us get into these spirals, these spirals of negative thoughts or feelings or patterns that can be self-destructive, really. These are nice little cards to kind of help break you out of that. These are not sponsored. I have to say that.
You can sponsor us if you want.
Yeah, please.
I feel like it's helpful too that it's short. Like it's small, it's focused, but it's short. So like it's almost one of those things you can just keep reading over and over again when you're in that spot of like, I can't focus, I can't don't feel like I can read. Well, I can at least like read it over and over again. And if I'm not processing it, that's okay. I'm still like repeating it like a mantra.
Yeah. Because I also struggle with attention problems sometimes. And because of that, like this, so the book is great. Don't get me wrong, but it's also a book, folks. It's got all these freaking pages. Like it's also a book. So for me, book work has always been overwhelming. I have learned that I need to take it in very small chunks and it's just going to take me longer and that's fine. But these cards, they're small bites. They're small bites. There's abandonment issues. There's relationship patterns. There's impulse management. So next time you're like, Amazon sounds good at 3 a.m. Maybe read this first. do that one. Disassociation. This is a good one. This is a really good one because when you're disassociating and you can't do anything, like you almost get to a point of paralysis where you're just like, there's nothing else to do. I can at least grab a card. Yeah, I can do that. This one literally says grab an object. Like this is the object. I could do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So it's super easy stuff. It's not, it's good for crisis management. Absolutely. They're really good for crisis management. So yeah, those are some things that I've been doing that I've been working, which is really nice. Now, like I tell my husband though, the thing about my BPD at least, and again, like I have to say that when I talk about these are my experiences. I can't say that everybody has these. I have heard from a few people that they have similar experiences, which is nice. It helps me feel like not as alone.
BPD is kind of that big umbrella that like you have your experiences and the way that you experience it and the way even that like your brain is experiencing the world through that lens. And someone else with BPD might go through the same things or might not. And it's all in how kind of our brain is processing it. And then also like how it's manifesting within you or within that person.
Yeah. Oh, so that's what so the thing that I was going to say is that I was talking to Mike about this earlier, that the tools that have served us in the past may not always serve us in the present, right? So one of the things that he and I had kind of talked about is a little bit that I can't go back and fix all of the things that I have already done or said, because unfortunately, when I work out of emotion, I am not a pleasant person. And I say things that unfortunately I really don't mean in the moment. And this is why I have to practice on getting better about self-regulating. BPD people, self-regulating is the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life. It feels like choking on glass shards. Like it is the most uncomfortable experience. However, I have been practicing my self-soothing for 2 days, and I can tell you that things have gotten better. Things have clearly gotten better. My husband is more responsive. There is no more bickering, but I had to try something new because this is a new place for me. I've never been 40 in this place before. So all of the things that I know, those tools clearly, they either only worked in that time, or they were only working for that moment, or they were only working for me at that stage in my life. I have to move on, and I have to find new tools, and I have to find new coping mechanisms, because this is a different part of my life that I've never been in. My kids are older. I'm older. I have, my marriage is still pretty new. I've been with my husband for 5 years, and we've been married a year. So like there's all of these things that over this past year had put me on this like really huge kind of almost like a dopamine high, because we bought our house, we got settled, we blended our families, we got married, we did all of these things, and then I just crashed. I crashed so hard. All of those tools that I was doing before this stopped working. Medication stopped working. The tools, the therapy, it all stopped working. No, and it was more because I probably stopped working it, right? It wasn't necessarily like all in the process. The med thing is something I can't really control.
Right. Yeah.
I had gotten really complacent. I'd gotten really complacent with my mental health because I just kind of thought, well, everything's good. Everything's been good for years. And that's the kicker. That's the thing that I now know. Literally, like I am discovering this now. That this is a brand new cycle for me. And I go in these cycles of things will go well for a very long time until they don't. And then it's just like wipe the table clean.
Yeah. And that can be so frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because that cycle then becomes like, well, then it can either, right, it can go one of two ways where it's like, I'm not good enough, I'm not trying hard enough, and then gets you back in that cycle of like the self frustration and that self hatred. Or it could just be like, nothing works and nothing's going to make me feel better. And so what's the point? And like, that's just equally as destructive and like not helpful. But I think what you're saying is so important, where it's like, just because it's not working right now doesn't mean it's not going to work in the future. Or just because you've tried it before in a different situation doesn't mean that it won't be helpful right now. Because each stage and each step is something different.
Yeah. And then, and then there's the converse. There's the part where it's like, okay, the things that you are doing, and if you feel like you are still having symptoms, then maybe don't do that thing anymore, right? Like that
might not be helping.
Yeah, and that's the thing that, like, that's the space that I'm living in right now, and I
Mm,
would be curious to know if other people experience this because I I do feel like it's like you when you go through this, you do feel like it's only you.
mm,
Um, you do feel really, really hopeless
mhm.
because, yeah, all the things that you knew just, like, blew up is what it feels like, and you gotta start from scratch. And
Yeah.
starting constantly, like, starting your own life and your own what almost seems like kind of revitalizing your own person and
Mhm.
personality and mentality again, man, it's exhausting.
I I think about it like being a child again and having to figure out how emotions feel, right? Like trying to teach someone what sadness or anger or like those things feel like in your body. And then it changes. And then you're like, wait, what is this new feeling that I'm feeling? And how do
Yeah,
I educate myself about it when I can't even recognize it or identify it? Yeah.
yeah. And then, like, there's tricky things, like how anger is a secondary emotion, right?
Mm.
Like,
Mhm.
that one always gets me because I'm a person who I don't get angry.
Mhm.
I don't get angry, but I will get irritable really quick.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
I have to remember, like, "Oh, wait, why are you irritable? Because you probably didn't eat anything, because you probably need to go drink some water or
Yep.
stand up," right? Like, it's always really fixable things,
Mhm.
but I have to remember that it's not a primary emotion. It's not a thing that I need to be working off of.
Mm.
Find the other
Mhm.
thing, right? That's the hardest part is to be mindful of that.
Mhm.
Ugh, it's too much.
Yeah. What does chaos look like for you?
Yeah. So I can tell you my most recent chaos, and that's a really good question. I'm super, super glad you asked it. So I have to like I'm gonna be super real and I'm gonna be super like this is the most uncomfortable thing that I think I've ever said publicly is that recently, and this has been after probably like a decade, I had a self-harm event. And it was strange because I've never been one to have those tendencies. This was the first time in a very, very long time. The last time that this happened, I was postpartum. So
Mm,
I just had my first kid. Postpartum was like clearly a thing that I just wasn't managing well, and I didn't fully understand what was happening. And I hadn't happened since. And recently I got really, really overwhelmed, and um, I couldn't quite feel anything. And then it got scary, and I was having a hard time being safe with myself.
mhm,
I was crying a lot. Like, there's always a lot of crying involved, so there were a lot of tears, but that was my chaos. It was, like, on the bathroom floor,
mhm,
just wrecked, just absolutely wrecked, and then the part about it too is, like, so I we don't have a gigantic house by any means. We're pretty modest people.
mhm.
Um, our kids are around. Our kids You can shelter them, right? Like, we can be in another room and all of that, but kids see and hear everything. I mean, they really do, and so as much as I try to hide my when I have symptoms like this, my kids still see it. They see me red faced, they see the crying, they see like, my kids still see it, and so I have to address it with them. I will not, I refuse to not address these things with my children because I never want them to worry about me because I
Mhm.
didn't close that loop, right?
Yeah,
I never want them to think that mental illness is scary because I never talked to them about it and I never actually gave them resolution.
yeah.
So when I have moments of chaos, um, I try really hard to remember who this is affecting as well
Mm,
because I know that it's hard for me. I know it's super, super hard for me. Uh, to stop and think about my family, my husband and my kids. that's the part where I cannot let my illness win. Like, I cannot let my mental illness think that it could ever know better what my kids need, what my husband needs. Like, that's not a space where my brain needs to be working. So that's my chaos
Yeah.
recently.
Do you ever worry about any of your kids, like what their, whether it's like what their impression is of mental illness or even like anything that you're passing down to them?
I do. And especially since I just did the genetic testing and I
Mm.
know that there's a predisposition for schizophrenia, I'm super mindful. I've got to know that it's really hard for children to, and I'm sure because you deal with it every day with children and mental health. Like, one, it's tricky as is because kids are changing so fast,
So
hormones,
much.
all those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then also, help for children is not easy. It is not as accessible as we would think that it would be. Most kids have to wait till they're 12 before anybody will even see them, like a therapist or a counselor. So,
Yeah. I was reading something the other day that was like just about people who are in therapy, and even like today, my husband's mom called and said like, "Hey, are you looking for like?" I don't know if he texted her or whatever about looking for a therapist, and he's like, "Yeah, I think I'm ready. Like, I think I want to find a therapist." And his mom was like, "Well, are you okay? Is everything okay?" It's like, "Well, yeah, but like this is to keep it okay." So
yeah,
like,
that's when you
right,
should be seeing a
right,
therapist.
and it's one of those things where it's like there's, whether it's like anxiety or like other feelings that have been getting overwhelming, and at this point it's like, yeah, we've witnessed other things. Like obviously I witness it every day at work. Um and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I want to know how to identify things within myself better and how to process those things. And even like the work that you just said you're doing with like workbooks and like so much of that stuff where it's like, yeah, I could try and like TikTok diagnose myself with something and then
Yeah.
try and like retrofit certain coping skills, but like that's not helpful either. Like
Yeah.
you need to find someone that's going to work with you and that's going to help you to get the skills that are necessary for you. And like
Yeah.
you said before, like everybody's going to experience things differently, and so it's really important that to find what works for you. And that's where a therapist can be so helpful to help you narrow down like what is going to work for me specifically in my life, in the timing that I have too, right? Like,
Yeah.
not always
Yeah.
am I going to have extra time. Some days I might have extra time. So like, how can I fit the things that I need into the time that we have?
Yeah. Agreed. I was telling my husband that like finding the right person too is also, it can also be really tricky. And I can only imagine, especially for men,
Mm.
there's I'm sure that I don't know if there's going to be a ton of men listeners, but like if there is one, I I recently was doing some research to try to help like support my family because I have a
Mhm.
bunch of I have a husband and a bunch of boys and then two stepdaughters who unfortunately they're not here all that often, but
Yeah.
I'm mainly around boys and men, and I need to make sure that I can support them correctly in the right ways because they do have different needs. There's things that are withheld much more frequently
Yeah.
than women do, and they need a safe space, a safe outlet to be able to talk about those feelings without having constant like rebuttal from their partner or their girlfriend or their wife, or I mean, because that's me all day long. I'm like, yeah, you want to get in a debate, let's do it. I'm
Let's
here
do
for it.
it.
That's me. But like it's important for men to have that safe space, and I don't think we focus on it nearly enough, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad actually because there's this whole like us not when we don't talk about men getting help and things like that, it's just perpetuating this, well, you're strong, hold your feelings in.
Mhm. Mhm.
Why can't you just figure it out? Like, that's, I think we're doing a disservice to our guys like that. I don't know.
It's so funny. So I have two little boys, and any of my friends that have had little boys talk about how sweet and cuddly little boys are, right? Like there's just something so sweet,
Yeah.
and like they just love their mom so much. And I just wonder, like, when does that change? And like, where is there this like, and I mean, I don't know, you have teenagers and they are still very sweet and snuggly,
Yeah.
but I feel like there is like, is there a point where, yeah, like these men don't know how to
Yeah.
identify feelings anymore? And is that like coming from a mom? Like, am I, like I always get worried, like, am I doing enough for my boys to
Yeah.
teach them how to identify those feelings and to like, yeah,
Yeah.
raise them into be men? Mine are
Yeah.
still very little, but like I just think about that a lot as I'm like trying to teach him like about feelings, and like my
Well,
little
you have
boy
to
learned
do
how
it
to push
now.
this week. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness, like you're pushing people now. Like we can't just have you
Yeah.
running around playgrounds pushing people. Like you're, like you're a strong boy.
Yeah.
But it's so funny how early we put kids into these like stereotypes too of like what's expected of them, and yeah, how to just give them space to be themselves
Yeah.
is so important.
I do think, like, something that I wanna change, and I don't know, like, I'm just doing this. I don't know if this works or not. I've never really read any books or have I don't even know if I've seen any other content on this, but I basically, like, I just have, like, a really, really open book with my boys,
Mm.
and whether they like it or not, I talk to them about things, about my experience as a teenager. I talk to them because they need to know that, 1, they're not alone, and this is not the first time that teenagers have gone through things. So, like, don't freak out. And then also, like, I do think it's important for them to understand that, like, you can talk about your feelings and it's safe and it's okay. Or you can talk about how you're confused about feelings. That's mainly a lot of the conversation with boys.
Yeah.
It's confusion around like why are we doing this, or why do we
Right.
have to like act this way, or why does this shirt feel weird? Like, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
about as deep as it goes most of the time.
Yeah, there's also that where it's like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll this is actually where I started going with my TikTok. So if anyone wants to see funny things there, my husband sometimes will just be like zoning out, and I'm like, oh my god, he's mad at me. Like I was yelling before we left the house. Like what's going on? Something happened. And I started to be like, what's going on? Like just tell me what's up. And it's like we're driving somewhere, and we had like just rushed to put all the kids in the car. He's like, well, I'm thinking about that NFL trade that happened like a week and a half ago. Really? Like I just yelled at you, and like I'm sitting over here like spinning in my head of like, oh my gosh, he's mad at me and I did this and I can't believe I said that one thing. Like I bet he's still thinking about that one thing too. And he's like, no, I just can't believe that like this owner would do that. And like something about the NBA. And I'm like, seriously? Like
This is the thing?
that's what's going on in your brain? So we
Wait,
will
is that
keep
the
that
video
content up as
were
well.
you in the car? Was that the one when you were in the
Yes.
car? I saw that
Yes.
one.
He will
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like zone out for a while, and I'm like, oh my, it's all my fault. I did it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And no, it's just like something like he's blown past it already. Didn't even think
Yeah.
about what mean things I had said to him 10 minutes earlier when we were loading the car. Like,
Yeah.
nope,
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
moved on.
Yeah, and this is where I think though, and this is where, okay, so the difference between that scenario where it's like, okay, I recognize that I was maybe not my best self to my husband, and you're kind of in the weeds a little bit, but you're also like, I'm just gonna see what's going on with him, and then he tells you, and then you guys move on. And this is how emotions are supposed to go. Myself does not understand that. Myself is like, okay, so you're mad at me and I'm going to keep poking the bear until you finally tell me what's wrong. And then I come to find out that there wasn't anything wrong in the first place at all. He was probably thinking about motorcycle tires. But because I have now created this scenario in my head and I'm running with it and I cannot get away from it, I will keep picking and picking. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? And I will keep doing that until I feel satisfied that I can get out of my spiral. But is that going to be 2 more questions? Is it going to be 85 more questions? Is it going to last a month? Is it going to last a day? I don't know. And this is the part where BPD is, it's emotions. It's normal everyday people emotions on freaking steroids. Just like you just take it and crank the dial all the way up, and that's how I feel emotions on a regular basis. And it's terrible. Because I mean, think about it. Like if you were stuck on your high setting all the time,
Exhausting.
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel good. So that's the thing that I'm trying to work on is take it down, ground yourself, tell yourself some truths. My husband he's really good about, we do like true or false because I do have part of psychosis is a little bit you don't really know what's true and what's not sometimes. So the hallucinations is one thing. The other part about beliefs is another part of psychosis that I don't think everybody has. I do. I can't tell when things are true and when they're not. So it will be, Mike, true or false? Do you still love me? True. Mike, true or false? Have I been have I not been sleeping? Like it's things like that like I need to reconcile in my brain. And sometimes I need help doing that. And it's just a true or false. Like I just need true or false because I need to validate, like, did that not? So
Yeah. I feel like that lends us really well into our final segment here, Sarah. Plus the fact that my computer's almost dying. So
perfect. Well, yeah, we're almost out of time. We're almost out of time anyways. So, all right. Yeah, you're right. That was a really good lead.
Good segue.
So, for those of our listeners who made it all the way to the end and are still here, thank you. We love you for that.
Thank you.
So we have a special little
challenge.
The Chaos Calm Challenge today. Yes, every week we're going to do truth or dare. And this week, do you want to tell them, Jen?
Well, the truth is that we love you. And we're so happy that you listened to our first podcast.
And the dare is we dare you to tell a friend about our podcast. So we hope everybody has a great week. We will be back again next week. In the meantime, just know you're not alone. We're here with you somewhere between the chaos and the calm. Everything's going to be okay. We'll get through this. See you next week.